19. At Cloudy Paths Cave, Wukong takes in 8 rules. At Pagoda Mountain, Tripitaka receives the Heart Sutra. We were telling you about the flaming light of the monster who was fleeing while the great sage riding the rosy clouds followed right behind. As they were thus proceeding, they came upon a tall mountain, where the monster gathered together the fiery shafts of light and resumed his original form. Racing into a cave, he took out a 9-pronged muckrake to fight. "Lawless monster!" shouted Pilgrim. "What region are you from, fiend, and how do you know old monkeys' names? What abilities do you have? Make a full confession quickly, and your life may be spared." "So you don't know my powers?" said that monster. "Come up here and brace yourself. I'll tell you. My mind was dim since the time of youth. Always I loved my indolence and sloth, neither nursing nature nor seeking the real. I passed my days deluded and confused. I met a true immortal suddenly, who sat and spoke to me of cold and heat. 'Repent,' he said, 'and cease your worldly way. From taking life accrues a boundless curse. One day when the great limit ends your lot. For 8 woes and 3 ways you'll grieve too late.' I listened and turned my will to mend my ways. I heard, repented, and sought the wondrous rune. By fate my teacher he became at once, pointing out passes keyed to heaven and earth, taught to forge the great pill 9 times reversed. I worked without pause through day and night, to reach Mud Pill Palace topping my skull, and jetting spring points on soles of my feet, with kidney brine flooding the floral pool. My cinnabar field was thus warmly nursed. Baby and fair girl mated as yin and yang. Lead and mercury mixed as sun and moon. In concord lead dragon and Khan tiger used. The spirit turtle sucked dry the gold crow's blood. 3 flowers joined on top, the root reclaimed. 5 breaths faced their source and all freely flowed. My merit done, I ascended on high, met by pairs of immortals from the sky. Radiant pink clouds arose beneath my feet. With light, sound frame, I faced the golden arch. The Jade Emperor gave a banquet for gods, who sat in rows according to their ranks, made a marshal of the celestial stream. I took command of both sailors and ships, because Queen Mother gave the Peaches feast, when she met her guests at the Jasper Pool. My mind turned hazy for I got dead drunk. A shameless rowdy reeling left and right. Boldly I barged into vast cold palace, where the charming fairy received me in. When I saw her face that would snare one's soul, my carnal itch of old could not be stopped. Without regard for manners or for rank, I grabbed Miss Changa asking her to bed. For 3 or 4 times she rejected me. Hiding east and west, she was sore annoyed. My passion sky high I roared like thunder, almost toppling the arch of heaven's gate. Inspector General told the Emperor Jade I was destined that day to meet my fate. The vast cold completely enclosed airtight, left me no way to run or to escape. Then I was caught by the various gods, undaunted still, for wine was in my heart, bound and taken to see the Emperor Jade. By law, I should have been condemned to death. It was Venus the Gold Star, Mr. Lee, who left the ranks and knelt to beg for me. My punishment changed to 2,000 blows. My flesh was torn. My bones did almost crack. Alive, I was banished from heaven's gate, to make my home beneath the Fooling Mount. An errant womb's my sinful destination. Stiff bristlehogs my worldly appellation. When Pilgrim heard this, he said, "So you are actually the water god of the heavenly reeds, who came to earth. Small wonder you knew old monkey's name." "Curses!" cried the monster. "You heaven-defying Banhorse plague. When you caused such turmoil that year in heaven, you had no idea how many of us had to suffer because of you. And here you are again to make life miserable for others. Don't give me any lip. Have a taste of my rake. Pilgrim, of course, was unwilling to be tolerant. Lifting high his rod, he struck at the monster's head. The two of them thus began a battle in the middle of the mountain, in the middle of the night. What a fight! Pilgrim's gold pupils blazed like lightning. The monster's round eyes flashed like silver blooms. This one spat out colored fog. That one spouted crimson mist. The spouted crimson mist lit up the dark. The colored fog spat out made bright the night. The golden hooped rod. The nine-pronged muckrake. Two true heroes most worthy of acclaim. One was the great sage descended to earth. One was a marshal who came from heaven. That one, for indecorum, became a monster. This one, to flee his ordeal, bowed to a monk. The rake lunged like a dragon wielding his claws. The rod came like a phoenix darting through flowers. That one said, "Your breaking up a marriage is like patricide." This one said, "You should be arrested for raping a young girl." Such idle words. Such wild clamor. Back and forth the rod blocked the rake. They fought till dawn was about to break. When the monster's two arms felt sore and numb. From the time of the second watch, the two of them fought until it was growing light in the east. That monster could hold out no longer and fled in defeat. He changed once more into a violent gust of wind and went straight back to his cave, shutting the doors tightly and refusing to come out. Outside the cave, Pilgrim saw a large stone tablet, which had on it the inscription, "Cloudy Paths Cave." By now, it was completely light. Realizing that the monster was not going to come out, Pilgrim thought to himself, "I fear that master may be anxiously waiting for me. I may as well go back and see him before returning here to catch the monster." Mounting the clouds, he soon arrived at Old Gao village. We shall now tell you about Tripitaka, who chatted about past and present with the other elders and did not sleep all night. He was just wondering why Pilgrim had not shown up, when suddenly the latter dropped down into the courtyard. Straightening out his clothes and putting away his rod, Pilgrim went up to the hall, crying, "Master, I've returned." The various elders hurriedly bowed low, saying, "Thank you for all the trouble you have been to. Wukong, you were gone all night." Said Tripitaka, "If you captured the monster, where is he now?" "Master," said Pilgrim, "that monster is no fiend of this world, nor is he a strange beast of the mountains. He is actually the incarnation of the marshal of the heavenly reeds. Because he took the wrong path of rebirth, his appearance assumed the form of a wild hog, but actually his spiritual nature has not been extinguished. He said that he derived his surname from his appearance, and he went by the name of Zhu Genglia. When I attacked him with my rod in the rear building, he tried to escape by changing into a violent gust of wind. I then struck at the wind, and he changed into shafts of flaming light and retreated to his mountain cave. There he took out a nine-pronged muckrake to do battle with Old Monkey for a whole night. Just now when it grew light, he could fight no longer and fled into the cave, shutting the doors tightly and not coming out anymore. I wanted to break down the door to finish him off, but I was afraid that you might be waiting here anxiously. That's why I came back first to give you some news." When he had finished speaking, old Mr. Gao came forward and knelt down, saying, "Honored priest, I have no alternative but to say this. Though you have chased him away, he might come back here after you leave. What should we do then? I may as well ask you to do us the favor of apprehending him, so that we shall not have any further worries. This old man, I assure you, will not be ungrateful or unkind. There will be a generous reward for you. I shall ask my relatives and friends to witness the drawing up of a document, whereby I shall divide my possessions and my property equally with you. All I want is to pluck up the trouble by the root, so that the pure virtue of our Gao family will not be tainted. Aren't you being rather demanding, old man?" said Pilgrim, laughing. "That monster did tell me that, although he has an enormous appetite, and has consumed a good deal of food and drink from your family, he has also done a lot of good work for you. Much of what you were able to accumulate these last few years you owe to his strength, so that he really hasn't taken any free meals from you. Why ever do you want to have him driven away? According to him, he is a God who has come down to earth, and who has helped your family earn a living. Moreover, he has not harmed your daughter in any way. Such a son-in-law, I should think, would be a good match for your daughter and your family. So, what's all this about ruining your family's reputation and damaging your standing in the community? Why not really accept him as he is? Honored priest, said old Mr. Gao. Though this matter may not offend public morals, it does leave us with a bad name. Like it or not, people will say the Gao family has taken in a monster as a son-in-law. How can one stand remarks of that kind? Wukong, said Tripitaka. If you have worked for him all this while, you might as well see him through to a satisfactory conclusion. Pilgrim said, I was testing him a little, just for fun. This time when I go, I'll apprehend the monster for certain and bring him back for you all to see. Don't worry, old Gao. Take good care of my master. I'm off. He said he was off, and the next instant he was completely out of sight. Bounding up that mountain, he arrived at the cave's entrance. A few strokes of the iron rod reduced the doors to dust. You overstuffed coolie, he shouted. Come out quickly and fight with old monkey. Huffing and puffing, the monster was lying in the cave and trying to catch his breath, when he heard his doors being struck down and heard himself called an overstuffed coolie. He could not control his wrath. Dragging his rake, he pulled himself together and ran out. A ban horse plague like you, he yelled, is an absolute pest.